Yeah, where y'all at? Never ran from no. Woo!
Welcome to a continuation to the yin,
the yang.
and the matcha. Cheers.
Cheers.
On today's episode, we're going to continue what a few people talked to us about, which is the parenting aspect and the depression. Ironically, both of those things can coincide, sadly. So parenting oftentimes gets people into a really tough spot emotionally, and it also leads to depression. And we want to talk about that. So, babe, the first thing I want to talk about is the major issue with women in parenting and depression is postpartum. So how was postpartum for you? What is postpartum? What does it look like? How does it feel? Explain it to the men that don't understand or the women that haven't experienced it yet. So,
Hey, for the men out there who've never experienced a woman after they gave birth, imagine your body has been cut in half.
man,
From the waist down, very painful. You're an amputee, like you can barely use your legs, walking around just pain for 10 days, bleeding for 10 days, no sleep. No sleep for at least 2 weeks. That's like common for women because we have to breastfeed. If you're breastfeeding, if you give them a bottle, you still gotta make a bottle. So you're feeding between 10 and 11 p.m. You finally can go to sleep or take a shower. I took a shower. I went to bed around 12. I woke up again around 3 or 4. Nova was a hungry boy. Then I slept a little longer, woke up when the sun rose, around 6 or 7. Slept a little longer, woke up again around 10, 11. And those sleeps were full of crazy, wild, if you can imagine, they're not real dreams, they're just crazy, vivid, emotional, bleh. And then, so that's a physical sense what you're going through. Besides, you're hungry all the time. And then, if you're breastfeeding, you're exhausted because the baby's literally taking energy out of you, which is a beautiful thing. You want to do this. You're happy to do this. But afterward, you're like, whoa. Especially if you're a new time mom. It's like, you have to sit down. Literally, you have to sit down for your own sanity's sake. It's not just you want a quiet place for your child. Okay. Yeah. But women be breastfeeding in the most randomest places. Anyway, not with the newborns, hopefully. Postpartum, that's on a level of physical stuff. It's like every 2 hours on the dot. Cycles of doing the same things for a month. Imagine the same day, the same thing every day. You're like, if you're out at sea and there's a wave that hits the same time you're sleeping every time. Like, the same person cries about the same BS. The same person rings the bell at the same time. The same food at the same time. It makes you go mad because you're doing the same things. And most of the time, you have family kind of helping, like mom or dad or husband or, family, friends, relatives, trying to chip in and like give a casserole here and there, do your laundry here and there, make your bed here and there, which is much appreciated. I don't not appreciate those things. I'm saying people do help because hopefully most of the time people really do help you on this first month or first 2 months of postpartum. Sorry, microphone. But the emotional stage of postpartum is, now for men who don't understand this, it's like how can I describe the craziness? There's a lot of pressure on you, and your hormones make you feel hot and cold, and make you feel like the baby's doing to you this on purpose, even though you know it's an alien. Make you feel like this baby, it's like not what you wanted, even though you 100% wanted this baby. Your hormones make you feel like your baby daddy or your husband doesn't love you, doesn't support you, isn't there for you, isn't also waking up in the bed with you every time the baby cries. Like, maybe you have a boo who don't wake up, but 80% of the time, the man is waking up with you. So you're not alone in that aspect. The hormones make you feel alone, like all alone, zero companions. Even if you're texting people, it's pain. It's because birth is very painful. It's exhausting on the body. As Jay said it today, it's the biggest feat humans can do. It's like running a marathon in 2 hours. And then
Congratulations to Shay Shay.
yeah.
Yeah, Shay Shay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super happy for her, DT Shay. Big boy. People ask me, was like, have you loved Nova the whole time? I was like, after 4 months, I loved him the whole time, but it gets a lot easier after 4 months. And after 2 months, it got easier. After 1 month, it got easier. I feel like also when I was going through postpartum, I felt it was like a flow where I felt like I had a bunch of energy and I wanted to clean and do things that I used to do, like work out or just like, oh, I'm like, okay, now I had this baby out of my tummy, like, let's go watch a scary movie, right? And I think that during that process, I was very emotionally vulnerable to everything I did, and like what the mindset of me like pressuring myself to complete a task that was like having 4 baskets full of laundry and wanting to complete that in a day is unreasonable. Like, not necessary. You just had a child. I remember wanting to do that the 5th day after I had a child. It's like aloe vera all over everything. Got no shirt on, just a sports bra, and I'm just like, I gotta do this laundry, man. It didn't make rational sense, and I think that's where I was gonna ask you, Jay. Like, men have to be the backbone and the rational one that encourages the woman to get the job done, because their mind it's not everybody's mind, but 90% of women go through this. Bleh. And people also feel really sad, like suicidal sad. So if you're feeling sad, talk to me.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think that because I've been through it twice with 2 different people, and it's similar. So from a male's perspective, it's like a feat. If I was to explain it to guys, it would be like if you achieve like the most manliest thing ever and nobody was there, right?
You
know what
killed a
that
bear.
feels? It would be like the most manliest thing you could possibly do, but nobody was there. So the manliest thing you can think of, right? But nobody saw it. And then you look around when people are around you, and it's like, you don't even understand what I just did. You weren't there, right? So everything you do after that is with the idea that they don't understand.
Mm.
So no matter how much a person tries to help this guy who did this manliest thing ever, you can't understand how macho and how strong and how like brave or whatever you want it to
Mm-hmm.
imagine it could be, the person that's trying to say like, hey, I know you went through that, I know you're tired, let me help you. It's like, but you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to, so that's not actually but it's from the perspective of what guys are like. So when your wife or your girlfriend and whoever has the baby, you can't comprehend how much they went through during that time. And during that time, they went through something by themselves that you couldn't. You were there, but you could not help them. Nobody could help them except God. That's it. It's just them, the baby,
And
and
God.
God. That's it. All right. So after they went through that, it's like, whoo.
And modern medicine.
And it's like trying to, they understand your help, they understand what you're trying to do, but the expectation is so confusing, right? And then these little things, these what I call like these thoughts come in, where even though I am right there sleeping next to her, and every single time the baby wakes up, and every single time I'm awake,
Mm-hmm.
I'm wide awake, I'm actually the one who's like, hey, this is what we should do. Let me help you with this. Let me help. But anything you do is not going to matter, right? So you have to have that understanding that it's not about you helping them. It's about you mentally supporting your wife or your girlfriend
100%.
through the process. But I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna be real on this, on the yin, the yang, the matcha. We're gonna be real. She's not going to listen. It's not going to work. So you have to go through. You got to go through the process of
Not
taking
everybody.
the pushback. What I'm saying is like, hey, babe, let's do X, Y, and Z. I don't want to do that. I can't do like that type of thing. Is not against you. It's you have to support the mom in a way that she needs you to support her. Not the way that you think you should, not what you think she should be doing. It's the way that she needs to be helped. And a lot of times, sadly, the fathers don't get a free card where it's like, it's their first time being a father. It's their first time parenting. It's their first time. They mess up so much. And a lot of this leads to what we're talking about, depression. Because a lot of the times the learning curve for the father is very small. And if the father isn't there during that pivotal point in their life, it can lead to a depressive state that can ruin your relationship.
Yeah.
It's
The woman
very
can
crucial.
be resentful.
I talked to, I forget who I talked to. Oh, I talked to a friend. I'm not going to name her. I don't know if she wants to be named. But there's a pivotal time, and most guys, I'm talk about this in another podcast, where guys depend on women in a pivotal time in their life that means everything to them, right? And during this postpartum time is where it makes or breaks relationships for the most part. I'm telling you, like this part is so crucial to be understanding. And I also learned during this time, and I think this happened with me and my daughter's mom. If you're a father, like you're meant to be a father, sometimes you can take over during the postpartum. And not what Liz is hands-on, she's doing herself, but in my first situation, I totally took over. Where it's like, if she wasn't willing to do it, I did it. That's why I said in the last video, like, I got up. I just let her sleep. I got up. I fed the baby, right? I'm the one bonding with the baby. But if you do that, fathers, you're messing up the relationship mother to child, where there should be a joint mother to child, father to child relationship, right? There needs to be like a teamwork thing, and this will lead to depression, because when a mother is going through postpartum, they already feel like they are not good enough. They already feel like
Yeah.
they're not strong enough. They already feel like they can't do anything right.
I feel like I want to say something because a lot of women get told that they have like this womanly instinct. There's like, you know exactly why the baby's crying. But in that postpartum period, sometimes you don't. Because for me, I don't know about for every woman, when Nova would cry for literally the first year, all I heard was alarms in my head. Regardless if it was a cry because he was lonely, or regardless because he was frustrated, he couldn't figure out a toy. They all sounded the same. And it wasn't until a year that I could actually hear the difference of like a sleepy cry, a hungry cry, different types of cry. But Jay, my husband, he could hear the early on the different types of cry. And I know you get
That's only because I went through
with
it.
Nine.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's yeah, it wasn't a fatherly force.
okay.
I mean, I didn't know either.
I was not born with it, so I was
then
like,
when so based off of all that was going on, like how did you get out of the postpartum from like how, like I can let me say my part. Let me say my part. All right, so I go first.
You got
this time. Yeah,
I'm gonna give you
so
that. You have the mic.
So how to help moms get out of the postpartum is sometimes fathers, you're going to have to think for them, and the expectation that you have to realize again, there is a strong feeling, and I tried to explain it earlier, where no one understands. I'm telling you, that's like the main part of postpartum, is that they believe that no one understands. And to help with that belief that no one understands, you're going to have to help in ways that you haven't done before. And there is a very hard learning curve for fathers trying to figure out what the mother needs, not necessarily what she wants, is necessarily what she needs. So if she needs to eat, you need to make her some food. If she needs to sleep, you need to take care of the baby. If the baby needs to be comforted and she is getting frustrated, take the baby from her, right? These are the things that you can do to help mom during that stage, because mom, one, is not going to give the baby up. That's not natural. They're not going to give the baby up. Two, they're never going to listen to you about sleep. If you tell them to take a nap, they're not going to take a nap. They just going to find busy work and do 3 loads of clothes, and then the baby's going to wake up, and then she's
really
going to
don't
say,
think every mom was like me.
she's going to say, I didn't get any sleep. Like, or sometimes, Dad, you should go take a nap with mom. The baby sleep. Come on, babe. Put on a boring, I don't know, what were we watching? Columbo.
Yep. Thank you.
Put on Columbo, lay down, watch Columbo till you fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then you both take a nap if you can. And this is where I said that society has put us in a tight bind where the father can't bond with the kid because they need to be there because the mom needs him. Like, not only the child, the mom needs the father. So, but what are your thoughts, babe? You're ready to go. What are your thoughts?
No. Society might say a whole lot of stuff that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Like, it's super important that the father and the child born. Almost more important than you taking care of the mom. Because the mom
Yeah.
eventually will learn her lesson to listen to her body. That is,
Yeah. Yeah.
you will learn. The body will teach you. The body taught you during pregnancy that it knows more what to do, and you were a passenger on that roller coaster. If you haven't learned, postpartum will teach you. But yes, husbands, baby daddies, father of child, please take care of your woman, please, because that is the queen, the mother of your child. Like, please, I'm not saying don't, but taking care of your woman, bonding with your child, in my opinion, honestly, I don't know. Like, this is kind of how I see it, because babies need dads. They need both. They need all the love. And I really like that you said, Jay, that women get frustrated with their child. They're not frustrated with the soul of the child. They're just frustrated because they're in a loop mentally. They've heard the baby cry all day. And that, I forgot about that. You would take baby and you would hold baby and it would give me a break.
Yeah.
I remember that. And it did help.
One of the major things you forgot to mention is that this is a human life form. This is a being, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if too many people that we're spiritual people. I don't know about everybody else, but
Yeah.
so this being will take your spirit and your strength and your patience and everything that the woman has. It will suck you dry of, right? And that is why most women are frustrated with their kids. When men see this, most of the men are disgusted, right? Because
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
understand, like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you treating your baby like this? Like,
Yeah,
what
you
is
snap.
going on? Yeah, it's like, yo, because guess what? We have a
That's your baby.
bond with the baby.
Yeah.
So it's like, because
Daddy
this
bear
is,
coming.
but this is where I said it needs to be a total connection between the mother, the child, the father, and the mother. It can't be a connection between the mother and father for the child, because he, like you said, he needs a connection with the child, but he also needs to understand and be connected with the mother. And it's very hard to get through that depressive state when you believe you're by yourself, the father believes nothing he can do matters, and the child is just screaming for attention, screaming for love, because they're just soaking up so much. Anything they can get, they're just soaking it up. Because again, we're not just talking about a piece of flesh. We're talking about a being that has never been here, right?
They don't understand dog barking. They don't understand the sirens of the sink. They don't understand why faucets are so loud, or why light is so bright, or why music is playing in which weather direction. They don't understand being cold. They've never experienced cold. Can you imagine that? Like, on a daily basis, we're like, it's too hot, it's too cold, and we just shed clothes or put on clothes. They were in a womb for their whole life where the temperature was perfect. And then they come out and they're like, I'm ticklish. What is this? I wanted to say something real quick, Boo, and then we got to do something else. But 5 things that really helped me for my postpartum, and these were all other women gave them to me. Other women told me this, and I'm passing it on if you're listening. Please take a shower every day. I don't care how you feel. You don't have to wash your hair. Take a shower every day because it restores. Yeah, and it's your alone time, and you can cry, and you can clean, and you can just be, and you can hear the water falling, and you need it. And weirdly enough, in the shower, I heard the most phantom screams. So if you have issues with like hallucinations, that was where I heard baby crying, but he wouldn't be crying. And Jay can attest to me being like, "Hey, like, is everything okay?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, everything's okay." Um, the other one was try to get some sunlight in and take the baby with you. So
Yeah.
not everybody's a nature person and doesn't have to get their feet in the grass, but if you go out in the sun for at least 15 minutes, even if it's like the morning or the dusk, once again, restores your body. Like, get off your phone, look at the light. Like, look at the
Yeah.
blue skies, feel the wind, and bring your kid out there. I promise you, 100%, if you bring your awake child out there who's crying, they will stop crying and start listening because it's a brand new environment. It's a new sensation for them, and they're very sensitive to environment change. Um, Super important. Get some sun. You don't have to do a lot of exercise, but my next thing would be some type of exercise, and it would be once a week after the first month. So the first month, you're really recovering. I mean, I was bleeding for 10 days straight, and I really couldn't exercise until 14 days. And then I wanted to exercise. I was like I was like, I'm gonna get fit right away, even though I was breastfeeding and I wasn't getting no sleep. My body, oh, I'm gonna go into that one. But after about a month, it will give you your confidence back. Whether it being doing one push-up a day, a couple squats, just walking around wherever you live, going up and downstairs. Again, you're bringing confidence back to your body because you are beautiful and you are loved, and you have everything inside you to help your body and help the child and help your life partner. The next thing that I would say is you can't stop the thoughts of the shame that your brain is going to tell you, because what just happened as new mothers, especially, is you've lived this life beforehand where it feels like almost a single entity. Even if you were joined in marriage or something, a spiritual connection where you found your like soulmate, you almost lived an independent life. As soon as you become a mom, you now, however it happens, are thrust into responsibility eternally. You will, especially if you are a good mom, you become the best. And that's beautiful, but forevermore, you will be changed. You can't change the bad thoughts, but you can fight them with loving yourself, with affirmations, and telling yourself you're beautiful. I would have to like tell myself in the mirror, stare dog-eyed myself and be like, you're beautiful, you're okay, you're beautiful, you're okay, you are loved, God has a plan for you, people love you, and reminding myself that. So even when you don't want to say it to yourself, and it makes me kind of emotional because a lot of people, before they even have a baby, don't believe this about themselves. You are loved. You are special. You are important. And you need to hear it. You need to tell yourself that. There's cells in your body who want to live, even if your brain doesn't. You want to live. You just don't feel like it. And then the last thing was, and kind of what Jay was saying, is you need to let people in. And I think that comes later. So you're finally able to accept the love people are giving you, the love you deserve. And that comes later, but that's very important. Because even if you're in a situation where you're a single mom and you have to do everything yourself, there's still it's still a higher power wanting to pour into your life and take care of you. And you have to look for that. And that's especially important for, I mean, all of us, geez, but when you're in that vulnerable state, please. Okay, I'm done.
That leads us to like when kids get older, there's another phase where parents seem to like get super depressed. And that's when we go back to work. We go back to work, we get busy, and the older the kids get, the less time we have to spend with them. And if you're an active parent and you love interacting with your kids, then you realize there's a phase where you start to disconnect. Like you realize your kid is changing and someone else is influencing your kid. And then you're fighting with your kid, right? And I just I work with kids specifically on this a lot. But they turn into something you don't recognize. And once that happens, you want a do-over. A lot of parents want a do-over. So they neglect the kid, they leave the kid. And this is a part of that depression. It's disguised in neglect. It's disguised in abusing your kids. It's disguised in just checking out. Some parents just check out. Like get a kid to somebody else, let them spend time with them. I know a few kids like that. I know a few adults that were kids and got put in that situation. And the cycle continues. It turns the kid into a stressful parent. And then the kid that is now an adult is trying to parent their kids, not knowing what to do because they had an absentee parent, and their absentee parent was absent because of depression. And we need to help parents understand that there is always another option. And people that know me from work know that I do my job because I love to do it, not because it's a job, right? And the number one thing they know about me is that I'm going to choose my kids. You can always get a different job. If you want a job, there are temp agencies, staff agencies out there that can make you a lot of money if you're willing to do the work. So no job is more important than your family and your kids. If your job is making you choose between your family and your kids and your job, you shouldn't be there. That's how it is. And if you had the job and you put yourself in a situation where you have to make that type of decision, then I'm going to say, father or mother, you guys are going to have to come up with a plan, because again, I believe that these are human beings that we're creating, and you're going to continue the cycle. And we need to help each other, and support. Like when I'm using my life, for example, I have to go get my daughter a lot. And sometimes I can't find a babysitter here and there for whatever reason, right? Man, the people in my circle were there. They were like, hey, if you need a babysitter, like even people I didn't even want to babysit, like, hey, you need a babysitter, and it's for the support, because Liz knows that I get really stressed out during the times where we have to transition back and forth because we have a blended family, remember? So it's very mentally and emotionally stressful when you're trying to manage time as a parent. And managing time is essential in parenting. You have to find the time to spend with your kids. And my mother gave me one advice. I used to work 2 jobs, work overnight, come home at 7, spend a little time with my kid, take a nap, go back to work, just a cycle, right? And she was like, you're not actually spending time with your daughter. And I got super offended. I got really angry. And she was like, if you're not doing this, if you're not looking at your child and your child is looking at you, you're not spending quality time. And I didn't get it at first, but then I took her advice because I didn't want to fail. And I love my daughter. And I saw that we both were getting frustrated. And I decided that I would take like 15 minutes, just 15 minutes out of my time
Mm-hmm.
to just sit
Mm-hmm.
down and start playing with my kid. And it made a huge difference. And I'm speaking to the parents out there, single parents too. Just take 15 minutes. Like when you get home, I know you're tired. They might be shocked. They might fight it because maybe you haven't been doing it, but just find 15 minutes to sit down and be like, hey, you want to play Uno? You know, or, and we're not talking about like sitting down, like, how was your day? How was school? They don't want to talk about school. Like they want
Mm-hmm.
intimate time, like actually doing something that you can look them in the eyes and you're interacting with them, kind of like a regular relationship. You don't want to be in a relationship and you're not
A
looking at your
regular
partner.
relationship,
Yeah,
regular
your
bread.
partner. So, yeah. So, but it's more like once you do that, that depression will subside. That depression will break up into pieces because you're
Mm-hmm.
putting forth an effort, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in the parenting depression, it feels like it's never enough. But it's never going to be enough because in society we're put in a box where we should be spending more time with our kids than school,
They
but it's
allow.
vice versa. Yeah. So that's what that is from. That is not necessarily from your inability to parent. It's from you're being put in a situation where you feel like you don't have adequate time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find a way to figure it out, you know? I was talking to somebody at work and she was saying the same thing, like, oh, I just come home, we grab some popcorn, we watch a movie, you know? Grab a blanket, everybody get on the couch and put your little cold toes, dusty feet up under each other and like watch a movie, you know? Have a pillow fight, tickle fest, dance party, you know? Like it could be something simple, going to McDonald's and eating inside. Not going through the drive-thru, just sitting in McDonald's and having a Happy Meal with your kids. Like it will change everything. Just
Yeah.
once a week, twice a week, 5
Mm-hmm.
times a week,
Mm-hmm.
more than the weekend. You need to do it on the weekdays. Those are the days that are rough for kids because if you're in the school district, like man, I don't know how I survive. But side note, what do you think about that, babe? Like time, like parents not having enough time and being depressed by that.
I think we we get in our own thoughts about a mistake that we made or how things wants to happen. I don't know. I think depression, it's really rough. And when you have a child who depends on you, whatever age, they could be a 14-year-old, they see you going through it, but they don't understand. And they need you. It's really hard to pull yourself out, like what you were talking about with your daughter, and you're very strong for that. Spending those 15 minutes with her, playing with the Barbie dream house and just interacting and talking and clothes and putting them to bed and waking them up and eating. And I saw something about play, how in real life the brain needs like 400 repetitions to understand something. But when you play with your kids, it needs 10 to 20 times. So, how many times do you tell your kid to do this, to do this, to do this all day? And I think we get hung up on, I've told you this a million times, you should know by now. But you forget
Yeah.
when you were 6 years old, you just wanted to have fun. And
Yeah.
I think adults, we stressed because we have a whole lot going on, more than a kid could ever imagine. It's more than some, why? I don't know. It's just we're humans who are prone to stress, right? And I want to talk about how mistakes, they don't define you. So you are not your mistake. You make mistakes, but you can keep moving forward. But mistakes have consequences, but they're not forever. And I think that you being like you were saying, I totally agree, is being present means more to the child than anything. More than the most delicious, rarest, most buttery salted steak. If you're a vegetarian, most buttery salted mushroom sandwich. When you give your child or any human your presence, your full attention, your complete undivided eye connection, that is more. Put down the phone. Those messages can wait. Never in the history of mankind did we ever have texting where we had to reply right away. It's just recently. And think about the relationship with child and parent for the history of mankind. That's my point of view. I'm not the best at it. I'm not going to say I've never been on my phone while holding Nova. By holding my baby, or I've never been on my phone doing this or that. But they see you on your phone, and then you mad at them when they're 16 on their phone ignoring you.
Yeah.
All
Comes
right.
back full circle.
Yeah. And it's scary because you still see the baby and you wish you could turn back the clock. I'm realizing this in my own life is Nova. Every time we get home, I go in right away mode, like in the kitchen, I'm gonna make lunch or dinner right now. And Nova, every day, he'll be like, come with me, come play with me. And he grabs my hand every time. And he just wants me to spend, like you said, like 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And if I give him those moments where we're pretending like we're playing cars or playing with the animals, I can go cook, clean. He comes, gives me a hug, says he loves me, and he runs away. This freaking 2-year-old. But anyway.
A lot of times parents get caught up in trying to be everything all the time. And all that weight gets put on your shoulders, and it becomes a depressive state that you try to carry, and you call it adulthood. And depression is not adulthood. Like, depression is not adulthood. You don't have to fight through depression. Depression is a state of mind. It's a condition of how you feel and the expectations you have on yourself and other people put on you. So if we can lift that weight up off of your shoulder and give you some tangible things you can do to try and help you be an adult, be a father, be a mother without the depression, then we're going to do anything in our power. But if you guys have any comments, put it in the comments. Have any questions, you want to reach out to us on Instagram, hit our Instagram up at the YY Matcha. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We love you, and have a good night.
Ching,
or good morning.
ching, pussy.
See ya.